Yes.
And that's where we need to stop and ask ourselves, because, some of the people who were listening to me when I had this interview a few weeks ago are no longer here. Yeah. And, with the sad thing with life is that when you die, that's the end of your world.
Yes.
But we are stuck in this place where we all think we are going to be here when Jesus comes in the clouds. It's not for everyone.
Right.
So it's more of, I think that the cornerstone of the book is more about preparedness, being ready, making sure you are getting ready. And I like what you're saying in terms of the 490, that even as we're moving towards that, when you look at it, we need to be ready for it. Because although the time is moving, if we don't move along and prepare ourselves, we'll get there and nothing happens.
Yes.
There has to be a synergy between what is happening out there and what we are doing as individuals to prepare ourselves for that great moment. And it's that connection, when that comes together, that brings what was made to manifest. So it's quite interesting.
Yeah. And, as you talk about even the preparation, I think the preparation also comes in the next generation. So, we've got 30 years, and that's how long it takes to change the movement of a people. And so, if the movement of a people is to constantly look outward, if the movement of people is really just about acquiring material things, and really where God is wanting us to go right now is to go inside, stir on the inside, bring the kingdom on the inside, because then if the kingdom comes on the inside of us, then together the kingdom is over us, above us, through us, in us, and then a whole thing begins to just manifest differently. So if we can come to that place of peace within, that shalom that is within us, then between all of us there is shalom, and there is that peace, and a progressive movement towards the will that God has in mind for us. So talk to us about the work that you do on an everyday basis, other than writing books and really bringing this message of this is it. What are you passionate about?
Well, my passion is really seeing people developed as leaders and building champions. And I believe that the world needs a different set of leaders now. We are where we are because we have been led by people who, to some extent, don't understand the bigger purpose of humanity. And in order for us to see that shift, we need to groom a next generation of leaders who understand that leadership is not about self. Leadership is service. Leadership is about creating opportunities and a level playing field for everyone to excel. And true leadership is wanting others to do better than you.
Yes.
And so that's my passion, is to get that message out there and to develop people who have that mindset or who have that desire to see that the world can be a better place.
Yes.
And that happens with our engagement in the process rather than our standing on the sidelines and speaking. It is easy to criticize. It is easy to see mistakes and faults in what others are doing, but it is more difficult to become part of the process.
Yes.
And in order for us to get there, we really have to instill this mindset in our children. And like you're saying, it takes 30 years, which means we need to catch all the kids who are in grade 5, grade 1, grade 2 right now, that they begin to think differently. Their outlook in life has to be different. You said something that I liked when we were talking about inwardly. And I like to bring that even when we look at our own people as Black people, and you look at marginalized people with different communities and ethnicities. It's okay for us to expect the world to do certain things for us, but it won't make any meaningful change or impact until we inwardly begin to see the change from within us. When we begin to accept who we are inwardly, when we begin to believe that God who created us and made us in this nature, in this color, knew better than we do and is able to bring us to that place where we need to be, regardless of what community is saying. Because the challenge is we have, and I'm not blaming, I'm not shouting down anything, but the current system has put us in these cliques and classes, and they're happy for us to stay there and feel sorry for ourselves and have pity parties, but they are not wanting us to come out there and really experience what the exposure of being out there brings from within us. There's greatness that is built on the inside of us, but we will never see that as long as we remain in this place where we are feeling sorry for ourselves, or we are expecting the world to be sympathetic with us. Yes, there's things that have been done to our forefathers. Yes, they were bad. Yes, they were ugly. It shouldn't have happened. But come on, let's wake up.
Yes.
We have to change the tide.
Yes.
And we have to change it into our own advantage. We've got to turn the ship round, but it starts from within. We've got to understand that in us lies the giant that needs to come out. And so my passion is really to drive that message and to pull that giant from within us, so that we all begin to realize that there's nothing that we cannot do.
Love it. Love it. Absolutely love it. I mean, we speak a common language, you and I, because I think I was saying something to a client. I was just doing a consultation, and this client was in such like a state of anxiety about the world and the way Black people have been treated. And she was literally just like, you could see her body was carrying it, she sat with her head down. She turned her head away for most of the conversation. And it was like that very anxious child. And I said to her, it is this profound and wonderful thing to be born a Black person. True. Because and I use these words because there's so much, and the layers of that we have to come through in order to finally, but once you finally come through it and you stand on it all, you realize the magnificent and the powerful being that you are. And then you take up really the thing that you're supposed to do. Sure. And I think we stand as a nation of, melanated people, African people. We stand as a nation that is always feeling very unsafe and very unprotected. And that causes a lot of anxiety.